Tottenham without Pochettino. With Mauricio Pochettino looking likely to leave Tottenham this summer, how should Levy and Tottenham go about rebuilding without the Argentine? Leonardo Jardim, Lucien Favre, Eddie Howe, Quique Setien and Pablo Machin would all be candidates for the Spurs job should Pochettino leave. Favre is unlikely to leave Dortmund at this present time, so his appointment may be unrealistic. Howe, despite performing well with Bournemouth, hasn't excelled over the last few seasons, with his tactics very one-dimensional and his teams hardly consistent. Setien has done a fantastic job with Betis, though his style would require a radical change of system for Tottenham, which is why Jardim and Machin would be the two favourites for the job. Pablo Machin, the Sevilla manager, would be my choice, as even though Jardim's Monaco did perform very well, he largely played a 4-4-2, and hasn't yet built a sustainable side at any team he has managed, though he would be a good candidate for a bigger job. Machin has shown at Girona and now Sevilla that he is capable of building a tactically adaptable side to challenge at the top of the league, as well as building a side on a limited budget. With Tottenham's limited budget, in order to have the maximum amount of funds, Machin would have to get rid of some dead wood. Aurier and Rose could bring in £15 million each. Alderweireld would likely leave for £25 million this summer. And even though Wanyama has barely featured this summer, he could still fetch £20 million. Llorente would be off the wage bill, and so would Dembele, who is likely to complete a £9 million move to China before the end of the season. That would be around £18 million in transfers, which could give Machin around £100 million to spend this summer. So where would Tottenham look to recruit? Well, with Alderweireld leaving, Tottenham would need a centre-back, preferably a young centre-back who could also play in a back three if needed. Timothy Fosu-Mensah would be the perfect option, as he is currently struggling for game time anywhere at the moment. He could play on the right of a back three, as centre-back in a back two, or as a right-back. He showed his capabilities when on loan at Palace, and Tottenham could probably get him from Old Trafford for around £15 million. With Rose shipped out, Tottenham would need a backup left-back behind Davies, who could also play as a wing-back. Maximilian Mittelstadt would be a good option from Hertha Berlin, costing around £12 million. Mittelstadt would be a backup to Davies, though is capable of playing first-team games and could develop both his one-on-one defending and attacking output to become a solid top-4 Premier League fullback, and he is only 21 years old. Selling Aurier would also allow Tottenham to move for another Hertha Berlin fullback in Valentin Lazaro, who would cost around £17 million. Lazaro is only 22 but is a phenomenal talent. He has 4.64 expected assists this season, which is fantastic output for a fullback, considering David Alaba has 1.98 expected assists this season. In terms of key passes, Lazaro has 2.3 per game, whereas Alaba only has 0.7, which just shows how good Lazaro's attacking output is for a fullback. Lazaro could play as either a wing-back or a full-back and would give Tottenham great options, with Trippier on the right-hand side as well. Tottenham's central midfielders needed a revamp since Dembele's decline, and Machin should look to bring in Marcos Llorente from Real Madrid and Jordan Veretout from Fiorentina for around £30 million each. Llorente is a ball-winning midfielder who could also play as a regista in a CDM position or in a midfield too. He is excellent when pressing aggressively on opposition midfielders and making tackles, which would suit Machin's style of play. Whilst the Spaniard doesn't have the ability to make key passes from deep, Veretout would take that responsibility, whilst Llorente would look to recycle the ball. In his 2016-17 season with Alaves, Llorente made 3.8 tackles per game, which was the fourth most in La Liga that season. Veretout is more of a creative player, which is seen with his 2.6 key passes per game that he has made in Serie A this season, which is the sixth most in the league. Veretout has also made 2.3 tackles and 1.6 interceptions per game, which shows that Llorente and the Frenchman would be excellent if playing in a double pivot that looked to press the opposition centre midfielders high, whilst allowing Machin to play more creative plays ahead of them, as those two could fill the gaps in case of a counter-attack. So how would Machin set up his side? Machin could adopt a 3-5-2 system, which he used at Sevilla, but with this Tottenham team a 4-2-3-1 would probably be his regular system. Lloris would be the number one goalkeeper, while Sanchez and Vertonghen would be the first choice back too, with Fosu-Mensah and Foyth being phased in when needed. Trippier and Lazaro would start at right back, though Trippier's better defensive attributes would probably give him the edge in most games. Davies would be the first choice left back with Mittelstadt as a backup. The midfield double pivot could be any two of Winks, Dyer, Sissoko, Veretout or Llorente, though Veretout and Llorente would be my choice due to their defensive ability, as well as Veretout's ability to make key passes, which is much better than the likes of Dyer and Winks. Ahead of those two would be Tottenham's regular three behind Kane, with Son on the right, Ali in the middle and Eriksen playing as a narrow left-sided playmaker. In a 3-5-2 system, the back three could involve Fosu-Mensah, with Sanchez centrally and Vertonghen on the left. Lazaro would be an excellent wing-back, with Davies on the other side, whilst Llorente could be deployed in a deeper regista position, with Eriksen and Veretout ahead of him. Son could play behind Kane as a mobile second striker, which would give the Korean the licence to roam out wide and centrally if needed. With Machin at the helm, Tottenham would have a very good manager who has experience with rebuilding teams. Due to Tottenham's reluctance to spend big, they'll have to be clever with their signings and look to target players from around the 21 to 25 years old mark, and look to improve these players as they have done with the likes of Eriksen, Ali and Son.